All right. I think we are live and good to go for today's drawing stream. I think what I will do is flip over to the drawing stream layout and we'll kick things off with creating a background BGM track like we usually do, since that usually takes about 15 or 20 minutes or so. We'll go ahead and get started right away, not waste any time, and kick things off. All right, I've got my loop set up on the side. Hopefully it doesn't slide off my table. Hey, Red Dragon's here. What's up, Red Dragon? How are you doing on this Saturday afternoon, evening, morning? Is it late at night where you're at? I'm bad at time zones, but hope you're doing well. All right, let me see if I can prop this thing up. I really wish I had a stand for my loop that I could just slide out of the way whenever I'm not actively using it for something, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to see if I can work in some of the sound stuff I was demoing in the last jam stream. We'll see if that works. But I've got a couple ideas that I was sort of kicking around. Hopefully my OBS settings don't screw with things, since I boosted my mic so you guys could hear me better. Red Dragon says 10 p.m. and angry at life. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully we can create some chill vibes. All right, I'm thinking kind of moderate energy beat. Let me test my mic levels here on the actual loop. Okay. If we did something like something that's kind of a staggered, slightly offbeat type rhythm, and then we can loop in some other stuff from that. So let's see. See if I can change the track level volume. This is going to be way too loud, and I have the fader pretty far down, so let's see. I'm going to leave it about here, so it's probably going to be competing with my mic for volume, and then once I have the entire track set, I'll drop it down so it's in the background. We could add some hats, maybe like an eighth note run, just like a my reverb. I'm going to double the snare, give it a bit more of a snap with some reverb on it. Let's see, stop this. subtle, but you can sort of hear it doubling up the overall sound of the snare in the back. That'll work. Now, let's see. One thing I wanted to try and mess with, since usually on my real simple BGM tracks that we put into the background, I will do like a guitar to bass thing with like electric string bass, and I'll do a couple different notes and loop whatever that note progression is. But I want to try and do something different using that transpose. So let me see if I can do that. Basically, what I want to experiment with for the sake of this particular beat is do something like a vocalized chest or like a low throat bass or vibration bass, and instead of me changing the pitch, I want to try and see if I can use the transpose to step up the notes and see if I can get something interesting that way, because it'll be different than me actually doing the notes myself. So let's see. Set transpose up first. All right. I wonder if I can demonstrate what this does if I'm just speaking in here. If I turn it on at 50%, you can't hear a difference.
And if I crank it up, you get the chipmunk voice.
Interesting. All right. So it does do the additional step up, but I wonder how it would work for a bass. I guess we can try it. Let me do something like. Interesting. Lower register seems to stay, and then it does sort of layer an octave on top. But I was hoping it would take the whole note and it just noticeably step it up, but it didn't. That's interesting. Hey, Wazzy's here. Wazzy's in lurk mode. I got you, Wazzy. Thanks for popping your head in. Once we get the beat and background music set up here, then we'll get started working on some whatever it is I'm drawing today. We'll figure that out in a sec. Another thing I could do is turn guitar to bass on, but keep the effect really low, so it's just boosting the low end a little, and then still use an actual sung bass instead of the full effect. So if I do that, let's see, I might have to tweak my settings here. Do something like that. Go a little bit higher. Yeah. Basically, with just these two tracks, we have a kind of hip-hop-ish type beat and kind of a low rumble bass in the background, which usually I go 2 or 3 tracks, but for the sake of this, I think that's probably fine for now. Could do some stuff with the track level effects to switch things up a little bit further in if we want. set something up in the background here so I can just turn it on and off when I want. Alright, that's fine. I'm just going to drop the faders down and get this in the background, then we're good. Alright, I'm going to leave that there, and if anyone has trouble hearing the stuff in the back, just let me know and we can fix it. Alright, go ahead and get rid of you. So what are we doing today? I wanted to revisit the character concept stuff we worked on, I think a couple streams ago now. It seems like it's been a bit. But when we last left off, we were experimenting around with a male character. I will get back to the female one too. In fact, maybe we can split the effort today between both, since I haven't worked on the female one in a while. And I did want to potentially start getting some line art inked on that one too. Let's see. Go back to the one we were working on. We spent some time on one of the streams drawing a bunch of heads and hairstyles. And let's see, where did I put the rough sketch primary? What we created here is a real rough sketch primary for the actual pose, so we can start testing out different outfits for the character. And so at some point I'm gonna have to figure out which one of these heads up here, grab the same colors and be sketching more today. One of these I'm gonna have to figure out which one I want to use. And we'll see. Haven't quite decided yet. Sort of considering this one. Or this one. Those two are sort of in the lead for me right now because I want to sort of choose something that's going to be a little bit different from the other character I was working on, because potentially they're going to be used in the same project. Potentially. And I'd rather they be a little more distinct and not too similar. So we'll see. Red Dragon says I really should get back into drawing. Well, it's never too late. Red Dragon says second row, first and third. So this one I highlighted, and this one. All of the ideas here are something that I could repurpose into something else. So even if I don't use one of the hairstyles for this particular project, I could still pull this up as a reference and use it for something in the future. Okay. But first, let me resize my sketch primary, because this is what I'm going to be drawing directly on. Hey, Sour Lad's here. Sour Lad says, hey, oh boyo. How's it going, Sour Lad? How you doing this Saturday afternoon? Sour Lad says it's hot. It is, for the first decently warm day it's been in a while here where I live. We've had winter-like temperatures, no snow, nothing close to freezing, but winter-esque temperatures and a ton of rain for the last, 2 weeks. And all of a sudden this weekend it starts getting warmer. I think it's going to be nice. I had to go out shopping earlier, be out in the sunlight. sort of threw me off because I don't ever go outside. All right, let's see. How do we want to do this? I think I won't put any details like the facial features. We can worry about that later. So I'm just gonna rough in the head. We'll give this dude an ear. And then from the neck down, we'll start messing around with some ideas for an outfit. I need to sort of think about what sort of style and a garment or outfit type I want to use for this one. It largely comes down to the particular race of the character, where they're from in this universe of fiction that I've mentioned a couple times and not really talked at length about, since that sort of drives the type of outfit he'll have. I kind of want to work with some more armor concepts. All right. Okay, I think I've got it. We're going to focus on some sort of mix of clothing and armor, like we did on the female one a long time ago. I'm going to mess around with kind of both. Some of these will look like they're more kind of like armor for combat or the like, and others will be more like casual, regular clothing. Kind of picturing a sort of plating that's kind of around the upper part here, and this is meant to be kind of like a shell or plated texture, kind of like it's something made from something that had like an exoskeleton. We have this sort of upper body armor piece cutting off right about here. I'd say just below the belly button, if we were to put it right there. Hey, Core Breaks here. Of course says, yo, I'm here to watch you do art. Well, we try and do art here. Sometimes an art happens. Other times I draw random stuff and try and make progress on the many projects that I've got going at once. But welcome. Hope your Saturday's going well. Course says, well, art is trying to draw or paint or work with clay or other stuff. That's true. Music is art too. I don't know if anything that I make music-wise is really sophisticated enough to be considered art, but it is an art form. I have talked to people just sort of in my travels and whatnot who are very much purists when it comes to the idea of music, and so they don't think that music created with digital tools or like a computer is considered actual music, which I don't really agree with. I think music is whatever you want it to be. You can bang on a desk to a rhythm and that's music. Doesn't matter how you create it. If your tools are a computer or an instrument, as long as it's an expression of something, then to me that's legitimate enough when it comes to music. I've only ever seen that sort of attitude from kind of pretentious, quote-unquote, classically trained people. I think most people would not really subscribe to that, but they're out there. Of course, says that's BS. Music is whatever has a beat or rhythm, or just a sound in general. You could make the argument that random sounds from, anything could be considered music, but in reality, it's anything that's meant to be some sort of quote-unquote organized sound that results in something. Melodies, rhythms, you name it. Alright, let's see. What do we want to do for the midsection guard here? Of course, as I first started on the violin, some of my favorite songs have synthetic sounds. Yeah, it really is kind of just a broad categorization when it comes to music, I never played any stringed instruments. I have some experience playing trumpet. It was a long time ago, though. And I was trying to learn guitar for a bit. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to learn when it comes to like digital tools and whatnot. I really want to learn Cubase. I started a long time ago before I started doing any of this stuff. I really want to get back into it, but I kind of am hesitant to commit to buying the whole software until I feel like I know exactly what I want to do with it a little bit more. Specifically, I wanted to use Cubase to create like chiptune type stuff, like video game music. Cora says, I don't include my time on the guitar because I was never very good at it. Deserty music? Yeah, I have a pretty decently nice Japanese Stratocaster electric guitar I bought from a coworker a long time ago that is currently just sitting in its case. Someone restrung that for me recently. But I think I'd really need to take lessons. Be nice to be able to get some semblance of competency and then hook it up to the loop. That is something I would like to do at some point, but probably down the road. Corporate redeem save reminder. Thank you. I will definitely need that today. I need to make a habit of flipping my canvas around every once in a while. It's not going to be too big a deal because this is just a concept sketch and I can flip or rotate or scale anything before I do any final line art, which we're most likely not going to get to on this today. But I do want to make sure I'm not skewing too heavily at an angle. Kind of got these arm gauntlet things leading up to the bracers on the arms that actually protect the forearms. Yeah, it's probably better to have them layered like that. Particular style of armor for this character and the race this character comes from, because it's meant to be like very kind of insect-like and shell plating, like you're gonna see a lot of these stones or crystal things inset into garments or armor. It's gonna be a very common motif for this particular style. It goes for both armor and clothing, so I'll try not to overuse it too much, but it's gonna be a running theme that we'll see in a bunch of different outfit designs. Just wanted to call that out as far as, you know, why someone were looking and say, where are all those weird balls? Cora says vambraces are for the arm, right? Vambraces, arm or hands, I believe. That's going purely off my Monster Hunter knowledge. let me see. Yep, forearm. Often connected to gauntlets. Okay, so forearm. Yeah, so basically this. Depending on how it was set up, you could do something like a partial forearm guard that's just this, and then you have like a gauntlet thing over here. We'll probably mess around with that too. Do something like kind of armored gloves. Of course, it says forearm, but I only have 2. I've always wanted to get into armor design for costumes and cosplay type stuff, but that's really hard. Talking to folks who've done cosplay work for things like conventions and whatnot, that stuff is very difficult. I've made costumes before, but nothing like armor-wise. I've made weapons and some wearable type things, but I would like to learn armor. It's much more difficult though. It'd be nice if I had a dummy or something I can use to map out specifications and scale for the things. But I don't go to conventions anymore, so ultimately that's not a super high priority. I've designed a lot of masks and some pretty simple wearables that go with that and weapons, but for something like this that I'm drawing here, working with thermoplastics like Warbla, I do have some, and I was working on it for a bit. Really should get back into that, but it ain't easy, man. People that do that out in the scene and create some like the crazy outfits, people like Kamui Cosplay, those folks are bananas. A ton of respect for people who do that, because it's not easy. Of course, yeah, I tried to design my own cosplay stuff. It's hard as heck. Yeah, it's one thing if you have a reference, you're creating a costume based on a character from something like a game or a show. That's one thing, because then you have a pretty good reference. If it's something that's a unique idea, then you basically have to come up with all the references yourself, and that's pretty tough. Hey, new follow from Celine Nara. What's up, Celine Nara? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Space Bees. I hope you enjoy your stay. We are doing some character concept sketch work today. I'm going to be working on hopefully several different outfit designs for this male character I started a while back. I don't know what I'm going to use him for yet, but it's mostly just a brainstorming session while we sort of vibe. Of course, there's OC cosplay. Yeah. You also run the risk of, if you dressed up as a unique character and you go to something like a convention, no one's really going to know what it's from. But at that point, you're doing it for yourself, not for an audience. So something like that wouldn't bother me. reason this character looks like he's leaning. Not really. Maybe it's just because I'm zoomed in really close. Alright. Let us move down to the lower torso. We're going for a sort of a heavily armored look. You do sort of like a greaves type thing. That's the name for the lower leg wear that usually goes up to the thigh, right? Greaves. I'll do one leg, make sure I'm happy with the way the design looks, and I'll flip the same thing over and do the same thing on the right side. This particular outfit's going to be very symmetrical. I think most of the concepts for this particular character are going to be mostly symmetrical type designs. We'll see. The female character I was working on a long time ago, which some of you may not have seen since it's been a while, that character's outfits are prone to potentially more asymmetry, part of the style. But for this one will be more symmetrical overall. We'll also keep the circular stone, inset stone motif on these lower leg parts too. See Starlight redeem the hydrate. Will do. And I will also save here before I forget. Draft says, haha, art goes burr. What's up, Draft? Welcome to the drawing stream, where I very rarely have a plan before I go live and start streaming. We're doing character concept work again today. This time we're doing outfits. Specifically, we're doing armor and clothing for that male character I started designing a while back. So, hope you're doing well. Yeah, Edward's here too. Edward says, it do go burr though. That's right. Whether it's me or whatever it is I'm working on, something is going burr. What style do I want for the shoe here. Keep it sort of simple. I do want to keep the idea of kind of plated boots or shoes. I think I can make that style a little bit more distinct on the more profile one over here. All right, do the right side now. We're going to mirror this style of leg armor and shin guard. Still part of the greaves, I think. I need to make sure I'm keeping consistent with the way the plating is styled here. Fortunately, because this is all rough sketch work, I don't have to be super exact with this stuff, but I do want to be precise enough that if I have to refer back to this later and I start inking things, I know what it is I drew. Core's taken off. All right, Core. I will catch you later. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. Have a good rest of your evening. Collapse this down a little bit. Might be able to foreshorten this a little. There we go. That way the foot doesn't look quite so long. I think we just need to add in the rest of the arm, and we can take stock of outfit number 1. Alright, I'm going to zoom out, save our progress, and see if there's any other parts I want to touch up. Hide the reference. Zoom all the way out here and take a look. Style ladder deemed save reminder. Yep. I'll make sure and save before we move on to the next design. Alright. Make sure this is off in its own layer. We'll call this design number 1. I'm going to hide the faces for now, that way I can put more of these across the screen and sort of keep a running snapshot of everything we've done so far. If I need to pull the faces back up, I can do that. Alright. Not a bad start. Let us drop our primary back in. And we will do another one. Start working directly on top of the one we started, or using the primary as a reference rather. We'll keep working directly on top. We'll do the same thing. We'll put face in here so I can keep perspective of what direction we're facing. I'm not too worried if this looks the same. It's just a placeholder anyway. Now, this one, again, I want to, at least for the first few of these, we'll see how many I actually do in this round, but I do want to focus on the idea of armor, like I mentioned back before. So it's going to be taking that concept and some of the key elements that we see on these and doing different permutations or different versions of armor concepts. For this one, maybe we can go for something that actually goes up to the neck. It'll be a bit different style of texture for the upper torso guard. This is another one of the stones set in a little bit higher up. This isn't a window. Go ahead and save here in the middle. I'll try and remember to do that every several minutes or so. If not, feel free to yell at me to save my work. I have a bad habit of not doing that often enough whenever I'm working on stuff like this. Let me see if I can switch up the BGM beat real quick. Nope, we definitely want to turn that on for the bass. Oh, I actually like the way that combination sounds. We'll do that. Hey, Sourlad's taking off. Alright, Sourlad, thanks for stopping by. Likewise, I hope you have a good evening, and I will catch you in the next stream. I'm not going to be able to check out Matt's takeover tomorrow because I got something in the evening, but I hope that goes well. I'll have to check the VOD for that one. Alright. Let us resume. This one we won't go for like a full torso guard. We'll just do like a belt. Beneath the armor, kind of like a armored shirt. This would be a little bit easier to sort of read if it was in color. But the armor is going to cut off mid-torso, and then you have this spot here, and then the belt. I might have shortened this character's arm. Arm seems a little long, but that's okay for the sake of just brainstorming ideas for how the armor looks. You can always fix the proportions later. I'll have to make a mental note. Maybe about 10% shorter on the arm. Let's see, maybe I can fix that here. Clean this up here and that should be fine. Okay, so leave that there for now. I'm gonna rough in parts of this side, which is gonna be, once again, it'll be a mirror. Now for the legs. I do like the idea of these sort of fatigue pants. That's probably going to be constant across all of these. We could do something like this where the pants are sort of going further down the leg. And then we have a different style of lower leg / shin protectors here. In fact, I won't have it tucked in. We'll have it going over. There we go. Have this part coming out like this, and maybe do some kind of texture on this inner part. Still part of the lower leg guard. This isn't like a gap with skin showing. Yeah, let's go for a different contouring on the inside. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I think I like that better. We'll sort of clean up the edges and move on to the legs or feet. This time, we can go for something a little bit more pointed. I like those style of medieval boots, the plating. The ones that look like they'd hurt quite a bit if someone kicked you with them. Okay. Now I just need to do the same thing on the right side. And we'll add the same contouring over here. And we do the same thing for the shoes. There we go. I need to fix that primary. I think the foot is too long. Okay. I think the arm needs to be fixed a little for this one. That's alright. Again, for the sake of concept, pieces and just general design ideas doesn't need to be too exact. If I was going to ink this one, I can play around and adjust parts as necessary. Let's zoom out on the second one here. Hide the reference primary and do some final cleanup and then compare this one to the first one. Maybe it's because of the style of the upper body, but it makes the model look a little bit more bulky in general in the second one compared to the first. Let me zoom out a little bit further, we'll see. Yeah, not bad. Kind of a different style. I don't know if I like it better than the first one. It's definitely a less level of detail. The second one has much less of the stones set everywhere. So if I had to draw this one more than once, it would be easier since there's a little bit less busy detail that needs to be captured per design. I don't know. I think I'm more partial to the style of the first one. To think about it. Alright, let's see. Let me drop a reference primary in. I want to fix some things on this one. I think the foot is fine, but I'm gonna move the arm up just a little bit. Shorten the arm. Just a tiny hair. that should keep me from extending that a little bit too far and having the arm be too long. Go ahead and save our work. I think for this particular one, I want to do one more armor idea, and then I'll take a look and see what else I can work on for the drawing stream today. Because I could spend the entire time working on this, but I do want to sort of work on a couple different things. Call this 2. We'll drop in another one. And we'll see what we get. We'll have this one start a little bit further down, not all the way up here on the neck. This one will start just around the sort of collarbone. We're going to go for a slightly different pattern and texturing on plating for this one. And we'll see how that turns out. This one is probably going to have less of those round stones set in, unlike the others. I've got a couple ideas on how I want to sort of work that sort of theme and motif in, but this one is not going to be quite as prominent in all different spots like the first one. This one is going to have the same sort of midsection torso guard, but I want to make sure I don't just copy the style of the first one too. Let's see. This one will be more of like a fabric bit here that's sort of hanging down. I don't know what these things are called. You see them on outfits all the time, especially in fiction and video games. This thing right here, the crotch flap, I have no idea what official name that garment has or where it comes from. I'm sure it's got some sort of ethnic roots in some culture, but I don't know what it is. You can also take the opportunity to put some decorative characters on the fabric here. Alright, before I move on to the lower body again, think about how I want to do the arms. You could do pauldron type things. It is something that occasionally works its way into armor for this particular race. Sure, let's see how it looks. You can always take it off. It's too distracting. could do gauntlets. Sort of armored bits that go around the hands and go maybe halfway up the forearm, unlike the other ones. Let's compare to our other designs here. Hey, first time chat from Evil Muffin. How's it going, Evil Muffin? Evil Muffin VR, if I'm reading that correctly. Welcome to the drawing stream. I am working on some character armor concept sketches here. We're working on the third of potentially 3 in this round before I potentially pull up another project. So hopefully your day / afternoon, evening, morning is going well. I need to get better looking at chat every once in a while. Sometimes I get so focused on what I'm doing, I don't see messages until I look over at my other monitor. Hey, Iconic's here. Iconic says, "Hi, Raku, sorry I'm late. Hope you're well." You don't have to apologize, Iconic. Like I told Core last time, you folks can show up whenever you have time and are free and want to hang out. And if you're busy and got to take off, or you have other stuff going on, no worries. Yeah, good to see you. How's your Saturday going, Iconic? It is Saturday, right? Alright, Iconic's doing well. I don't know how to read your chat, Evil Muffin. Oop. Evil Muffin said, "How is your day?" My day is going good. I got some errands done earlier in the day before the stream, and of course had to scramble and eat lunch right before the stream as a result, which is every stream now that I think about it. other than that, we're good. We are chilling. Evil Muffin says, you're good at drawing? I consider myself alright. I'm really more of a concept artist than a fully rendered artist. I'm trying to get better. So occasionally we'll do these drawing streams to either work on some ongoing projects that I have, or assets for the stream, which I haven't done in a bit. Or just experiment around with ideas and kind of see what pops out. If I zoom out here, folks who jumped on a little while ago, we have 3. Come on screen. Stop doing that. Working on the third of 3 armor prototype designs for a male character I'm working on. The result of some of our earlier streams. If I hide these, we're trying to figure out hairstyle, and then we filed that in the background, and then we've drawn 3 armor styles so far, and I will see if one of these is going to be potentially something we go with in future. Evil Muffin says, not to be rude, but that music is really annoying. Are you talking about the BGM loop? Probably it's the effects. I can take them off. I switched them in about the 1 hour mark. This is what it sounded like in the beginning. Occasionally I'll play around with the effects on here so I can switch the track up. But if it's annoying, I can turn it off. It's not a big deal. Evil Muffin said this is better. All right, cool. The loops that you're hearing in the background were created on my loop station here, which is my sound device. And these are beatbox sounds. So very frequently on these drawing sessions or other types of streams, I will create some sounds and loop them to the device here just as background noise. But meant to just be in the background. So thanks for your feedback. All right. Let's keep going here and try and get to the lower body on our model. This one, I think I am going to have the sort of pants over whatever's protecting the lower legs, since we haven't done that yet. Oh, Evil Muffin followed. Thanks, Evil Muffin. And assuming you're taking off, thanks for the follow, and hope to see you in the future. it does remind me, I can actually switch my BGM tracks for the last section of the stream here. Since we've had this one pretty much the entire time with the effects and without. So let me save this. Let's see, which one was this? Oh, that's an old one. How's the volume on this one, Iconic? If I leave it here, is it audible but not too distracting? Okay, Iconic says I think it's good. All right, thanks. One thing I need to be careful of, because I upped the mic boost in OBS for all my mic devices, when I have everything plugged into the loop, I need to make sure it doesn't get cranked too high, because that was primarily for my non-loop sound setup, which is what I was using a couple days ago. It is a constant struggle. Next time we do a sessions round, I'm hoping I'm not too soft in the background when it comes to my volume. That was why I upped the setting, so I rely on you guys to tell me when something sounds weird so I can try and fix it. Alright. This one has a little bit more of an asymmetrical patterning just on the guard itself, but I think that'll be a good switch. Let me check something real quick. It sounds like it's raining. Yep, it is indeed pouring rain outside. When I went to go shopping earlier, there was a bunch of garage sales on my block, which meant there's a lot more traffic than usual, but I'm assuming they all had to close up shop real quick because it was sunny and warm earlier and now it's pouring. Kind of says, rain, Earth's natural beats to vibe to. Yeah, that's all well and good as long as it's not too audible. I don't think it's loud enough that you folks would hear it on my mic, but usually when it's warm during the day, I'll open my window so it doesn't get too hot, and I'm glad I didn't do that because the wind would be blowing straight into my room, my workspace, if I had opened my window. Icon says, yeah, it can't be heard. Okay, that's good. If I was using a regular condenser mic, it's much more likely that the ambient noise in my room would get picked up. But this type of mic actually is known for being less sensitive and requires a bit of a boost to get some good pickup, which is why I have a cloud lifter hooked in when I'm not using my loop, and I have dynamics and EQ set up to boost the mic's gain when I am using the loop, because otherwise it'd be very soft. This mic that I have is very good, but it is not super powerful on its own. And so when you see people on podcasts and streamers, it's very common streamer and podcast mic that I use. They most likely have it hooked into a pretty good sound system and are able to manipulate things like the gain and the boost so that you can hear. Because it gives really good, clear sound, but on its own, it's a little bit weak. All right. Let's take a look at design number 3. And do some final touch-ups, and we'll compare it to 1 and 2 and see where that leaves us. All right. Let me zoom out real quick. I was touching up some of the things, but let's take a look at our 3 armor ideas here. I'll leave the faces off just to not clutter up the screen. So we're thinking about ideas to use for this particular character. We've got 3 variations on armor. Again, the main themes and ideas here when it comes to the style and the design elements I want to put in is the idea that it's very shell-like, or kind of like something that was created out of an insect. Which is why you see all of the stones and stuff set in here. And hey, new follow from Toothpaste Addict. Thank you for the follow, Toothpaste Addict. I hope you enjoy your stay here on the channel. We're doing some concept design sketches here and taking a look at the results of the stream so far. Iconics is very nice. Oh, thanks. These are pretty rough designs, and I do want to add some more, but we might move on from this particular character today. We'll see. But of the 3, I think if we go 1, 2, 3, I think 1 is my favorite, followed by 2, and then 3 in third place. Toothpaste Addict says, they look very good. I like the middle one. Gives me martial artist vibes. Yeah, the second one, interestingly enough, it's least heavily armored, right? So it looks like a design that'd be used for someone who needs to be able to move around really freely, especially on places like the limbs, both the upper and lower body. First one is much more heavily armored. If you needed kind of protection overall, you probably want a style like this. And the third one is kind of in the middle. It's kind of in between the two. But one thing, well, I'm on the wrong layer. One thing I would like to do when I finish one of these character studies is take the final design for whatever characters I'm drawing and put them in different armors and outfits. So you might have a character sheet, and you might have armor design number 1, armor design number 2, or 3, just have a whole series of outfits. So just because we're looking at different designs here for the study doesn't mean they're all going to be tossed. The other ones aren't going to be tossed out. I would like to have a bunch of alternates. So if it was like character and costume 1, 2, or 3, and then compare across all of them, kind of how the different style and kind of vibe changes based on their outfit. And I see Evil Muffin's back. I can't read that chat either, Evil Muffin. Toothpaste Addict says, do you think you'll give them helmets? I don't know. There are going to be some designs I work on at some point that will have like head coverings or helmets, but probably not for the base sketches. I had to think about that. It's a good question. It'll largely depend on what I'm going to be using the characters for, but like here, I'll kind of show you something since you jumped on a little more recently. Let me hide these. In the first part of the study, last time I worked on this project on stream, I took a bunch of character faces and worked on different hairstyles and said, okay, here's a bunch of ideas. When we're talking about being in the stream, I haven't quite figured out which one I want to use yet, but the overall design elements you see here are going to fit into whatever finalized version of the character I make. But I wouldn't be opposed to doing some ideas for headgear too. There are some other types of designs I work on that are kind of like head to toe, full covering type things, so they would have helmets. I don't know. I'll have to file that one away in the background. It's a good idea. It largely depends on, again, what the characters are going to do. Are they warriors? Are they like just regular people that occasionally have like adventurer's armor? I don't know. Haven't got that far yet in the character concept study, but good question. think when I work on this next, I'll probably try and do some ideas for less armor focused clothing, just regular outfits and kind of more casual wear that the character could be wearing. And then when I start focusing on doing fully rendered versions of these, pick an armor style and a clothing style first and do fully rendered drawings of those. Like before we get ready to wrap up for the day, I can pull up a different character study we worked on stream that's further along than this one when it comes to ideas. I just don't remember where I put it. Let's see. This is 5. Was it 4? Nope. This was a randomizer drawing we did on stream. That was a fun one. I need to do another one of those. Give me a second to look through my archives, figure out where I put it. Let's see. 3? It was 3. Problem is I do a bunch of my different assets and projects on different files, and sometimes I just drop them into whatever it is I was working on last. Let's see. Oh, I think it was this one. These were some Discord reactive image avatars I was working on for our Salt Table sessions, and we'll just hide that for now. Yeah, this is it. But where did I put sketch layer? There we go. All right. Here's the primary. This was for a different character, a female character I was working on. And why can't I find the faces? I guess what I'm learning here is I need to go back and organize my directories from my folders. I will spend some time doing that off stream. So if I ever have to do this again, I don't need to find the layer. But we did the same exercise with this one as you saw on the one I had pulled up a second ago, where we took a character, brainstormed a bunch of ideas for hairstyles and face and whatnot, and then we took that, used a base pose primary, just a neutral stance, and said, okay, what are some outfit, armor, clothing design ideas, and just threw stuff at the wall and sketched stuff out. I eventually will go back, compile everything, and say, okay, here's the ones I want to use, and then do fully rendered line art of whatever it is I select. That's the end goal of the project, and have a fully rendered, colored, shaded image of the character, and then I'll be able to use that going forward. And for this one, we did these 4 for outfit designs again. And then we did 5, 6, 7, and 7. We didn't get to 8 yet. Oh, here we go. I didn't have this laid out the same way as the other one. Maybe that's why. Here, let me put these in order here. Did the same exercise with faces, hairstyles. I just did it in a different format than the male one. And then we went with 2. We went with 2. And that's 1. 1, 2. There we go. We went with 1, and then the rest are filed. Sorry. And I think we decided that maybe row B could be used as another character for something, maybe in the future. But yeah, the last 3 I designed were these ones. This middle one with the really unusual armor kind of going different directions was actually a chat suggestion. Someone mentioned an idea of having kind of like a full body armor that had plates sort of facing in different orientations, and I thought that was interesting, so I sketched it out here. I don't know why I used a different color pencil for the sketch here. It really is just some sort of light blue usually. Kind of like design 2. This one I'm toggling on and off. And is it 6? No, 7. I don't know. But just like on the other ones, we'll eventually go through the selection process, figure out which outfits I want to fully render, and then we'll do 2, an armor and a regular clothing one. And then see what the results look like. So yeah, this one, maybe I'll work on this one next time. It'll largely depend on if I have to get something else done that's more urgent. But we'll save this so I can find it easier. And this is our male model. So I think that will do for today. I mainly wanted to make some progress on one of my projects. There's a couple other things I'm working on in the background. Some stuff that is offline, some stuff that's on stream. I will figure out kind of more of a structured plan for the next time I do a drawing stream. This one I just wanted to pull something up and work on it because I really need to practice more. And if I was a good artist, I'd practice more off stream, but it is difficult to find time. Iconic says great stuff, duder. Thanks, Iconic. Again, I need to practice more. I'd like to get better. Before we sign off, let me see if anybody I know is online. Whenever I stream early in the afternoon, most of the people I know aren't on. I think they stream later, usually. I guess before we jump off, Iconic, do you know someone that we can raid? I don't normally solicit suggestions from the chat, but for today, and since I know you want to give me a recommendation for someone who's cool, and we can go over and say what's up. Just realized, looking up at the Twitch dashboard here, I hit 69 followers today. Well, I didn't have fast enough. I was gonna say nice. Absolutely Abby. All right, let me go search them up. Absolutely Abby playing Destiny 2. All right. I don't know this person, but I have seen other people play Destiny 2. I just saw that Prince playing that. We'll go raid Absolutely Abby. But let me stop this. We'll go to the outro. once again, thanks to all the folks who swung by and hung out. It was decently productive today. We'll be getting back together next week. I need to figure out the stream schedule, and I'll post that tomorrow on Twitter. So, until then, thanks again for hanging out, and I will catch you folks in the next one. Have yourselves a good evening. Now commence the raid.